Let's get right into it. Number 1. Space is a silent screamer. Imagine getting into a screaming match and losing to the vacuum of space. Not because it argued better, but because it literally eats sound. Your whole life, you've taken sound for granted. Dogs barking, phones ringing, that one guy who watches TikToks on speaker in public. But in space, you could bang a cymbal with a sledgehammer next to someone's helmet, and they'd hear nothing. Not a peep. Not even a muffled ow. Why? Because sound needs a medium, air, water, something, to travel through. Space is just nothing. A cold, echoless, invisible void where sound dies before it even starts. It's like trying to start a group chat with people who all deleted the app. So if you ever find yourself floating in space and screaming dramatically into the stars, congratulations. You've just performed a very quiet monologue for no audience at all. Shakespeare would be proud. And this isn't just a spooky silence. It messes with your body. Your inner ear, for example, relies on pressure and air movement to help you balance. In space, where there's no pressure differential, your body loses all sense of up, down, spin, or straight. Basically, your vestibular system goes full drunk toddler. It's like the GPS in your head just gave up and rerouted you to Nauseville. So no sound, no sense of direction, no gravity to hold your stomach in place. But hey, asterisk, the view's nice. Asterisk. Number 2, blood has a new agenda. Okay, quick question. How do you feel about your blood floating? Not in a poetic, oh, I'm so light and free kind of way. I mean literally pooling in your head and eyeballs like it's trying to move in and redecorate. On Earth, gravity politely pulls your fluids down toward your feet. That's why standing too fast makes you dizzy, and also why ankles swell if you sit too long. But in microgravity, your body doesn't get the memo. Blood rushes up and stays there. Congratulations, you're now a tomato with anxiety. This fluid shift causes what's hilariously called the moon face. Puffy cheeks, swollen nasal passages, and a head so full of pressure it starts to affect your eyesight. Astronauts have returned from months in space with permanently changed vision. Your eyeballs actually get flattened in space. Not in a cartoon, steamroller kind of way, more like your retina's filing a workplace complaint. And here's the kicker, your body doesn't know this is bad. It assumes you're just very hydrated. So it makes you pee more to balance things out, leading to dehydration on top of the blood party upstairs. Basically, your circulatory system gets drunk in zero gravity and forgets how to do its job. But hey, it's all for science. And Instagram selfies with a slightly more swollen than usual face. Number 3, your bones start quitting. You know how your bones usually do that cool thing where they hold you up and don't crumble into dust? Yeah, well, space hates that. See, your skeleton is a use it or lose it situation. On Earth, gravity makes you constantly work against it just by standing, walking, or collapsing on the couch for the 5th time today. That resistance keeps your bones strong. But in space, no gravity, no resistance, no job for your bones. So they're like, guess we'll just retire early and disintegrate. Astronauts can lose up to 1% of their bone mass per month in space. That's like aging in fast forward, except there's no rocking chair, and you're floating in a tin can instead of a retirement home. The bones in your legs and spine suffer the most, since they're usually the MVPs of standing and walking. In 0G, they just vibe uselessly while their density plummets. And your body's response? No worries. Let's just dump that extra calcium into your bloodstream. Which sounds fine until your kidneys start screaming because you're now producing space kidney stones, the worst souvenir ever. So if you've ever wanted to become a fragile, floating skeleton with a side of renal agony, space is calling. Number 4. The space sniffles, except way worse. Let's talk about your nose. You don't think about it much unless it's runny, broken, or being unfairly judged in selfies. But in space, your nose becomes clogged with betrayal. Remember that lovely thing called fluid shift from earlier? Yeah, it hits your nasal cavities like a dump truck. The result is permanent head congestion. Every astronaut sounds like they're talking through a marshmallow. No amount of nose blowing helps because the mucus isn't sick mucus. It's your body redistributing its resources like a bureaucrat on a power trip. And without gravity to help drain your sinuses, your sense of smell goes on vacation, which then wrecks your sense of taste. So even if you brought your favorite snacks to the International Space Buffet, they all taste like cardboard dipped in nostalgia. That's why astronauts douse their food in hot sauce. It's the only thing with enough flavor shrapnel to break through the sinus blockade. In other words, space turns your nose into a flavor gatekeeper, and the only key is a fire-breathing bottle of Tabasco. So yeah, your face gets puffy, your nose clogs up like a toddler in cold season, and your favorite food starts tasting like warm regret. But hey, zero-G backflips, right? Number 5, you grow taller and angrier. Here's a plot twist. In space, you get taller. Like noticeably taller. 1 to 2 inches, sometimes more. Sounds cool, right? Like a free boost without shoes or spine-stretching medieval torture devices. Well, enjoy it, because it hurts. What's happening is that gravity on Earth usually compresses the squishy discs between your vertebrae. But in zero gravity, those discs puff up like overconfident pancakes. Your spine elongates. Your posture goes full Stretch Armstrong. And for a brief, floating moment, you are a majestic giraffe-human hybrid. Unfortunately, your body isn't a fan of this bonus height. That spinal expansion puts stress on your nerves and joints, especially in your lower back. Astronauts often report constant, aching back pain in space, like the worst yoga class you never signed up for and can't leave. You're floating, yes, but somehow your spine feels like it's carrying the weight of everything anyway. So yes, you're taller, but also grumpier, stiffer, and probably Googling space chiropractor in your free time. Spoiler, there isn't one. Number 6. Your skin starts peeling off like old paint. You know that satisfying feeling of peeling sunburnt skin? Okay, now imagine that every day, but from the bottoms of your feet. Welcome to space podiatry hell. On Earth, your feet deal with pressure, friction, and general abuse daily. So your skin adapts, toughens up, builds calluses, and quietly resents you. But in space, no walking, no pressure, just soft, floaty loafing. Your foot calluses, now unemployed, start to shed like your skin's doing spring cleaning. Astronauts have to be careful taking their socks off, because dry foot skin floats away like dandruff confetti. There's literally a term for this, toxic sock syndrome ***. It's like a snow globe, except what's falling is your dead epidermis and everyone wants to die a little. Also, because you're not walking, the tops of your feet get irritated instead. Straps, harnesses, and awkward floating pushes rub against your foot tops, creating blisters in places that shouldn't have blisters. It's like your feet forgot how to foot. So just to recap, in space, your soles become molting reptiles, your foot tops become war zones, and socks become danger zones. If that's not glamorous astronaut life, what is? Number 7. Your taste buds stage a coup. Picture this. You finally sit down to enjoy a nice, hearty meal aboard your billion-dollar space habitat. You dig into a pouch of roast beef with gravy, expecting warmth, flavor, maybe a whisper of comfort food. And it tastes like wet envelope. Your taste buds, it turns out, are extremely petty in space. Thanks to fluid shifts clogging your sinuses and zero gravity dulling everything from mood to metabolism, food in space becomes aggressively bland. Like, aggressively. It's as if your brain puts a filter over your tongue labeled meh and refuses to take it off. NASA has tried everything. Spicing up meals, adding international cuisines, sneaking in bold sauces. But most astronauts still describe the food as metallic, mushy. And please don't make me eat this again. Some astronauts report intense cravings for hot and spicy foods, because spicy stuff punches through the nasal congestion blockade. Others, they start mixing things they would never touch on Earth, like shrimp cocktail on eggs, or peanut butter and fish. This culinary chaos. It's space munchies gone feral. And don't even ask about carbonated drinks. Without gravity, bubbles don't rise to the top. Instead, they form terrifying little gas-liquid hybrids in your stomach, leading to what astronauts politely call wet burps. Less politely, fizzy puke. So yeah, you're floating above Earth, staring at the infinite cosmos, while choking down expired baby food and praying for a jalapeno. Number 8, your immune system panics. Remember how your immune system is supposed to protect you. In space, it's more like an overworked security guard who stops doing their rounds and starts texting their ex. Microgravity, radiation exposure, stress, and weird sleep patterns all combine to absolutely wreck your immune function. White blood cell production drops. The cells that do show up don't work as well. Even the communication between immune cells gets glitchy, like your biology has bad Wi-Fi. The result? Old viruses you thought were long gone, like chickenpox, herpes, and shingles, can reactivate. That's right, your own body pulls the horror movie twist of bringing back the villain from the prequel. Surprise! It's internal zombies. And it gets worse. Space actually boosts the strength of certain bacteria. Yep, not only do they survive the radiation and vacuum nonsense, they thrive. Some strains get more aggressive, grow faster, and even become resistant to antibiotics. Because why not add mutant microbes to the list of concerns, right? Basically, your immune system turns into a confused intern on its first day. It doesn't know what to fight, who to call, or how to clock out. All while you float there hoping your own biology doesn't mutiny mid-mission. Number 9, your heart gets lazy. Your heart is a muscle. A hard-working, never complaining, literally life-sustaining muscle. And yet, as soon as you enter space, it decides to go part-time. Here's why. Without gravity pulling blood down into your legs, your heart doesn't have to work as hard to pump it back up. So it gets comfortable. Too comfortable. It starts shrinking. Literally. The muscle mass decreases because it's not being challenged anymore. It's like your heart put on pajamas, turned on Netflix, and said, "Wake me when we land." This is called cardiac atrophy, and it's as fun as it sounds. Your resting heart rate can change, your blood pressure can drop unpredictably, and your ability to tolerate standing upright when you get back to Earth? Yeah, not great. Astronauts returning from long missions often feel dizzy, weak, or even faint when they try to walk. That's because their heart, bless its lazy little valves, forgot that standing was a thing. So it panics. It's like trying to go for a jog after spending 6 months in bed, just with more risk of faceplanting. Oh, and here's a kicker. With all that extra fluid floating around up top, your body thinks you're overhydrated. So it triggers responses that decrease your blood volume too. Less volume, weaker pump. It's the least inspiring motivational poster ever. So next time someone calls you heartless, just tell them you're preparing for space. It's medically accurate. Number 10, gravity withdrawal is real. Back on Earth, gravity is annoying. It breaks your phone. It knocks over your coffee. It reminds you every day that you're not a bird. But in space, you miss it. Desperately. After months of floating, your body gets so used to microgravity that coming back down is like being hit by a truck made of physics. Your muscles? Weak. Your bones? Brittle. Your balance? Hilariously non-existent. You're basically a jellyfish in a wind tunnel trying to remember how legs work. This readjustment period is rough. Some astronauts say gravity feels like being crushed. Not metaphorically, asterisk literally star. Their head hurts, their feet swell, their spine compresses like an accordion. It's like being squeezed back into your human meat suit after borrowing a cloud. Even your organs freak out. Your inner ear, which helps with balance, now has to unlearn everything it picked up in space. So your body stumbles, sways, and sometimes straight up falls over. You are a grown adult being bodied by planetary physics. And all of this after returning from one of the most extraordinary experiences humans can have. You stare at the stars, float among satellites, witness Earthrises, and then come home and can't walk straight for 3 days. Thanks, biology. Number 11. You might shed tears. The wrong way. Crying in space is one of those things that sounds poetic, until you actually try it. Let's say you're up there, floating peacefully, gazing at Earth, and you get all teary-eyed. Maybe from homesickness, awe, or realizing you've been eating rehydrated pasta for 47 days straight. But here's the thing, your tears don't fall. There's no gravity to pull them down your cheeks. So instead, they pool on your eyeballs, like a sad, stinging bubble of saline emotion. And the more you cry, the bigger that bubble gets. Eventually, your own tears will just sit there, clinging to your eye until you awkwardly wipe them away, if you can find a clean corner of your spacesuit to do it. Worse yet, some astronauts have had their tears merge together and float off their faces in perfect little globs of despair, like tiny, orbiting symbols of emotional dysfunction. And if they drift the wrong way, straight into your nose or mouth, cool. You're now literally eating your feelings. Also, if you're thinking about a full-on sobbing breakdown in 0G, just know it's a bad idea. Your sinuses are already congested. Your voice sounds like a stuffed animal, and now your face is covered in floating sadness juice. It's not cathartic. It's gross. So yes, you can cry in space, but it's less heartwarming movie moment and more tragic astronaut water balloon fight with your own tear ducts. Number 12. Your brain rewires. Weirdly ***. Let's wrap this cosmic nightmare tour with the one organ that holds it all together, or tries to, your brain. In space, your brain goes through real changes. Not just psychological, though yes, the existential crisis of floating above Earth in a glorified tin can is real, but actual physical rewiring. MRIs of astronauts before and after space missions have shown that parts of the brain shift. Gray matter volume increases in some areas, decreases in others. Basically, your brain is remodeling itself like it's been watching too much HGTV. Spatial awareness, motor control, and visual processing get affected the most. That means you might bump into stuff more, struggle with hand-eye coordination, or misjudge distances. Great news when you're surrounded by expensive tech and have to poop into a suction toilet with pinpoint aim. There's also something called space fog, a kind of mental fatigue astronauts describe as brain sluggishness, forgetfulness, and the overall vibe of someone who just pulled an all-nighter but forgot why. And let's not forget isolation. You're trapped in a metal box millions of miles from your species, with the same few people, the same walls, and the same view of the moon that still isn't a Starbucks. It's psychological Hunger Games up there. But hey, NASA's working on it. With mood lights, communication protocols, space VR headsets, and the world's least relaxing treadmill. So don't worry. When you eventually venture into space, your brain might melt a little less than before. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.